Part 25. Are you crazy? If you become the leader of the clan, all the clan members will become emperors. Author, greedy for the body but not FO. Chapter 241. Looking at the heavenly destiny that has not yet dissipated in the sky. Xiao Qingyuan jumped forward, intending to borrow the hand of heaven. Promote the Nanming dynasty to a dynasty. Once you have the blessing of heaven's luck, it is equivalent to being designated by heaven and irreplaceable by extraordinary people. Secondly, use the power of heaven to consolidate the luck of the dynasty and lay a solid foundation for later promotion. I saw her rising into the sky. A look of scorn on the world appeared on her beautiful face. I saw lotuses growing under her feet, and her body was glowing with golden light. A 10,000 feet long golden dragon hovered over her body. A powerful imperial threat came. The power of heaven above the sky gradually gathered together and entangled with the golden dragon. A bright light exploded, and the fate of the power of heaven was introduced into the southern Ming dynasty by the golden dragon. In an instant, a strange phenomenon occurred, the wind and clouds surged, and the sky collapsed. Streams of golden luck burst out from the ground, turning into golden brilliance and rising into the sky. Under the blessing of the power of heaven, the brilliance is dazzling and the golden dragon roars. The surrounding luck coefficient is closer to the southern Ming dynasty. After the light passed, colorful auspicious clouds floated in the sky, fairy clouds appeared again and again, and 3 or 2 flying cranes flew by. The Nanming dynasty was shrouded in a golden halo, exuding an imperial aura from the inside out. Everywhere in the southern Ming dynasty, strange phenomena abounded, and generals and prime ministers had numerous talents. The number of emperor-level spirit beasts doubled in an instant, and the spirit flowers, spirit grass, spirit mines, and spirit mountains doubled in number. The Nanming dynasty was successfully promoted to the Nanming dynasty. Everyone looked at the scene with shocked expressions. Nanming dynasty. When a dynasty is promoted to a dynasty, the territory, people, and even the flowers, plants and trees within its jurisdiction can be promoted accordingly. Even a mortal without any cultivation talent may still be able to give birth to heaven-level spiritual roots. I have stayed in the realm of Tianzun for many years. I moved out half a month ago to find a way to break through. Who would have thought? I regret it. I regret it. After the promotion of the Nanming dynasty is completed, it will definitely be coveted by many forces, but Xiao Qingyuan can avoid future troubles forever. Use the power of heaven as a barrier. Anyone designated by heaven, even if it is death. Everything he owns cannot be plundered by others, even his body. I don't know how much time has passed. Xiao Qingyuan slowly opened her eyes, and an imperial thing flashed across her eyes. Then she stretched out her hand, and a black and yellow aura appeared in her hand. There is a faint hint of heavenly luck. The black and yellow energy is released. This is the standard configuration of only the Son of Heaven. The Son of Heaven is the Emperor appointed by heaven. It also means that he is a lucky child favored by heaven. Among the emperors of all dynasties, only the Emperor of Heaven had such a strange phenomenon. Since the collapse of the heavenly era, no more sons of heaven have been born in the heavens. The promotion of the Nanming dynasty was successful, and the cultivation speed of cultivators in the dynasty also experienced tremendous changes. The cultivators all broke through 3 major realms within a quarter of an hour of being promoted in the dynasty. Even some wealthy businessmen from small families have the lowest cultivation level of the 9th level of Qi training. In the Nanming dynasty, except for the senior officials of the dynasty, the rest also have the cultivation strength of the golden body realm. Among them, the lowest cultivation level in the army has reached the level of martial god. Except for several other great dynasties, its powerful military combat effectiveness is unmatched by anyone. In the Nanming dynasty, there were 3 titled emperors. There are as many as 20 emperors. The number of middle and high-level personnel in the quasi-emperor realm has exceeded 100. As for the realm of the great heavenly lord, there are even 1,000 of them. Although Xiao Qingyun's cultivation realm is only the fourth level of the Great Emperor, but she has the terrifying strength to fight against the titled Emperor. Among the great emperors, he is already invincible. Thinking of what he has achieved so far, Xiao Qingyun is filled with emotion. He has been reincarnated many times, but none is as good as the one led by Xiao Xian. If it weren't for his help, the Nanming dynasty might not have been established so quickly. Looking at the imperial dynasty training manual that Xiao Xian gave her, Xiao Qingyun looked firm. Since you treat me like this, I will naturally help you. Xiao Qingyun looked at the changes in the Nanming dynasty, and then returned to the dynasty with satisfaction. And the news of Xiao Qingyun's promotion to the Nanming dynasty has spread throughout the world. Today's Nanming dynasty has become the coveted target of many powerful sects. But if you want to get it in your hands, you have to outsmart it and not steal it openly. Because she is the Son of Heaven. And in such a moment of national celebration, a conspiracy is quietly being born. The junction of Nanming dynasty. I didn't expect that you would promote the Nanming dynasty to a dynasty after I had just practiced in seclusion for many years. I have to say, after all these years, you are still the same. A man in purple robes and blue flowers looked at Xiao Qingyun in the sky with emotion on his face. A pair of hanging eyes revealed a strong obscenity. But this obscene look actually made him show his passion. Lin Cheng, who was practicing in seclusion, suddenly felt an imperial aura spreading across the heavens. Realizing that someone was promoted to the dynasty, he hurriedly came out of seclusion. It happened to be the moment when Xiao Qingyun turned the power and luck of heaven to his own use. I have to say that you are still as decisive as before. You are cruel to others and even more cruel to yourself. Brother, she is the one who took away the destiny of heaven. Standing next to him was a young boy with a childish face. But the young man's eyebrows contained endless murderous intent, and his body smelled of blood. Lin Cheng nodded, then raised his eyes to look at Xiao Qingyun, who was glowing with golden light in the sky. His eyes were fixed on the wisp of black and yellow aura on her body. Originally, he wanted to break through the title of Great Emperor. But at such a critical juncture, Lin Cheng found that he lacked a touch of Xian Huangqi. The moment the heavenly destiny arrived, he discovered that it was exactly what he needed. But just when he was thinking about how to convert the destiny of heaven to his own use, Xiao Qingyun took it away first. And his breakthrough was forced to terminate. He even suffered a bit of backlash, if his younger brother Lin Yang hadn't come to the rescue. I'm afraid I've already gone crazy. Even exploded to death. Then I'll kill her now. Get that black and yellow aura back to you. Lin Yang had a look of solemnity on his face, with a touch of joy in his expression. Lin Cheng shook his head. Once the destiny of heaven after the thunder tribulation enters the body, unless it is voluntary. Otherwise, robbing it will only cause it to be lost, and it may even be targeted by heaven, and then the gain will outweigh the loss. Then what should we do? Your breakthrough must be achieved through luck. Otherwise, that thing will swallow you up. Lin Yang spoke angrily, looking at Xiao Qingyun with extremely vicious eyes. Since she is a woman, she naturally likes people. For example, men want to come to her alone. She would always be extremely lonely late at night. If someone could bring her happiness. Lin Cheng's words were full of obscenity. Are you crazy? If you become the leader of the clan, all the clan members will become emperors. Author, greedy for the body but not FO. Chapter 242. Xiao Qingyun is a legendary genius of the Xiao family and the king of a country. Now he has been promoted in the southern Ming dynasty. She has both good looks and strength, so she looks down on the average son of a genius. She has incredible strength and is not worthy of her. Although my strength and talent are not incredible, I am even better than her. She must have gone to the Xiao family to propose marriage. Xiao Xian, the head of her family, would not refuse after weighing the pros and cons. In this way, I hold the beauty in my left hand and the country in my right hand. It's really wonderful. Lin Yang raised his eyebrows and smiled meaningfully, and then clasped his fists. I wish my eldest brother a happy return soon. However, at this moment, an ethereal voice suddenly came from behind them. Neither male nor female looks like a ghost, but it also has a suffocating sense of terror. Brothers Lin Cheng and Lin Yang turned around and saw a man in black appearing here at some unknown time. The expressions of the two men suddenly changed. This person's cultivation realm was clearly above them. Lin Cheng's eyes flashed and he took a step forward. I wonder what's going on, senior. If my two brothers can help, please tell me. The cultivation realm of his two brothers is both at the peak of the Great Emperor, and they are one step away from being crowned the Great Emperor. But this person could appear behind them silently. His level of cultivation is at least that of a titled emperor. Oh? How do you know I'm not here to take your lives? The man in black sneered. Lin Yang instantly exploded with momentum, preparing to kill the man in black. But Lin Cheng stopped him with one hand, and with one look, Lin Yang knew that this person was not simple. Lin Cheng smiled indifferently, with your strength, if you want to kill my two brothers. Why do you need to show up? There must be something important that my brothers and I need to handle for you. And this matter may be insignificant to you. Lin Cheng's few words made the man in black smile even more heartily. Yes, he is worthy of being a jade-faced scholar. He can guess my movements with just one movement. The man in black raised his head and laughed, seeming to be very optimistic about Lin Cheng in front of him. But Lin Cheng knew that this was just because they did not violate the taboo of this powerful man. Once a taboo is violated, they don't even know how they die. Although my two brothers are not very powerful, they have their own principles in doing things. I don't know what you want us to do, if it is beyond our capabilities. Lin Cheng pointed it out. A strong and capable person like him would naturally understand what he meant. Hearing Lin Cheng's words, the man in black smiled coldly. What you practice is the most yin and evil technique. If it is not suppressed by the most yang and strong method, not to mention the title of Great Emperor, it is difficult for even the peak emperor to break through, and may even explode. Lin Cheng's expression changed slightly. No one knew about this except him and Lin Yang. The man in black continued, but I can help you break through the title of Great Emperor, and you don't need to rely on heaven's luck. I have been practicing for many years, but I have never heard of this matter. I don't know, Your Excellency. I have been practicing for many years, and I still don't have the trouble to talk nonsense with a first-level junior. Lin Yang used a secret voice to reach Lin Cheng's ears. Brother, this statement is unbelievable. Lin Cheng shook his head. I can bet that if he has this ability, my brothers can get it just by doing something, so why not give it a try? Moreover, this person's cultivation level has a vague aura of etherealness. Apart from quasi-immortals, there are only pseudo-immortals who can exude a misty aura. But the cultivation level of the man in front of him is not like that of an immortal, but rather like that of a titled emperor. Since he has the aura of an immortal, it proves that he has achieved quasi-immortal enlightenment. He is only one step away from becoming a quasi-immortal. That being the case, why not give it a try? I wonder what the senior asked us to do. Lin Yang took a step forward. The man in black snorted coldly, as Xiao Qingyun, the legendary genius of the Xiao family and the Empress. There are countless people who want to covet her, but the most indispensable thing in the world is the genius. Even if you are good at it, how can you stand out in the Xiao family? The rest of the geniuses of the Xiao family basically have Taoist partners, except for Xiao Jiangxin and Jamal Xiao. It was Xiao Qingyun, and the main reason why she had not found a Taoist companion so far was the Nanming dynasty. Next is the head of the family, Xiao Xian, but Xiao Xian has a difficult time. Xiao Qingyun's current level of cultivation is the 4th level of the Great Emperor, but the Xiao family's genius has the terrifying ability to leapfrog and kill. Even if you are the peak emperor, you will not be her opponent. Starting from the marriage, it is stupid. Then what should this junior do? Lin Cheng asked back. Kill her. As soon as he said these words, a terrifying pressure suddenly erupted from the man in black. I have some grudges with her. If you can help me kill her, the titled emperor will be yours. Lin Cheng's eyes flashed, and then he looked at the man in black. Xiao Qingyun is a peerless beauty of our time, wouldn't it be a waste to kill her? The next moment, the man in black's expression changed drastically and he looked at him resentfully. Do you think Xiao Qingyun is really just the genius of the Xiao family? How stupid! You don't know how difficult it is to be promoted in the Nanming dynasty. Let's not talk about whether she can withstand the 99 Thunder tribulation. It is to transform the power and destiny of heaven, which is not something that a girl can understand. As soon as these words came out, Lin Cheng immediately smelled a trace of it. What do you mean, Your Excellency? There is someone behind her. The man in black sneered again and again. Just now I thought you were worthy of being the jade-faced scholar, but now I feel that you are claiming this title in vain. Since the establishment of the three parties, every war has been fought by all three parties. If their ultimate goal is the same, which is understandable, then why doesn't the Xiao family's genius come forward? And Xiao Xian, he only took 2 or 3 people there many times, which was uncharacteristic of the Xiao family. Lin Cheng's expression changed drastically. You mean? The man in black showed a smile at this moment. Yes, the Xiao family and the three parties are one. In other words, Xiao Xian may be the ultimate controller of the three parties. As soon as these words came out, Lin Cheng and Lin Yang looked at each other and saw the horror in each other's eyes. After careful thinking, I discovered that there is indeed a connection that is not easy to detect. At this moment, they suddenly realized. Lin Cheng looked at the man in black with a troubled expression. If Xiao Qingyun is alone, our Lin family can send out troops to assassinate him. But the Xiao family and the three parties are not something that my Lin family can fight against. I wonder what guarantee you have? The men in black naturally knew what they were thinking. I remember that the Lin family has 2 half-step quasi-immortal elders. If the 2 of them become quasi-immortals, wouldn't it be easy to attack the Xiao family and the three parties? And their breakthrough? All he has to do is comprehend the quasi-immortal enlightenment. If I can enlighten them. As soon as these words came out, brothers Lin Cheng and Lin Yang showed excitement in their eyes. Quasi-immortal. That is a legendary realm. If they can transcend the immortal, the Lin family will become a pivotal position in the heavens. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Are you crazy? If you become the leader of the clan, all the clan members will become emperors. Author, greedy for the body but not FO. Chapter 243. The 2 of them immediately took a step forward and kowtowed with clasped fists. Thank you, Senior. Later, the 2 returned to the Lin family and informed the senior elders about the matter. And passed the tips bag given to him by the man in black to the 2 elders. The 2 elders took the kit and felt a sense of release. This is actually a bag containing a hint of quasi-immortal insight. One of the elders looked excitedly at the bag of tips in his hand. What the great elder said is absolutely true. With this kind of tips, it is only a matter of time before the 2 of us break through to the quasi-immortal realm. Then the elder's eyes flashed and he asked, the man in black asked the Lin family to come forward to kill Xiao Qingyun. Apart from that, are there any other conditions? Lin Cheng nodded solemnly, no. The 2 elders were overjoyed, and one of them even had tears in his eyes. The 2 of us thought that there was no hope of transcending the immortal world, but we never thought that we could actually transcend. His voice was trembling, showing how exciting detachment was to them. Since the Xiao family may be one with the three parties, the Lin family will not be afraid. Now with this tip, the two of us can break through to the quasi-immortal level in a short period of time. By then, even if the Xiao family and the three forces attack at the same time, it will be nothing more than a matter of hands for the Lin family. As soon as this voice fell, all the middle and high-level personnel in the conference hall jumped for joy. Congratulations to the elder, congratulations to the elder, the transcendent immortal. The elder has worked hard for so many years and is finally transcending. The Lin family has two quasi-immortals. Even if the established forces in the world see them, they have to be polite. The Lin family is finally coming through. For a time, everyone in the Lin family was talking about it, and their words were full of joy. Brothers Lin Cheng and Lin Yang were also smiling. But the assassination of Xiao Qingyun still needs long-term consideration. Although the two elders can transcend the immortality by retreating and absorbing it. But Xiao Qingyun's Nanming dynasty was protected by a hint of heavenly power. If you want to take the Nanming dynasty as your own, you must give in willingly from Xiao Qingyun. This alone is already unfeasible. Within a short time, the two elders of the Lin family entered seclusion to practice. As for the attack on the Nanming dynasty, we will wait for them to leave the country before making long-term plans. Brother, are you still thinking of taking the Nanming dynasty as your own? Lin Yang looked at Lin Cheng's troubled face and knew what he was thinking. So he comforted him, the Nanming dynasty is good, but if it doesn't belong to you, there is no need to fight, it is better to focus on cultivation. If this matter is completed perfectly, with the strength of the man in black, it is not impossible to help you break through to the quasi-immortal level. After you have transcended, let alone the dynasty, how difficult will it be for you to create another era of heaven? Lin Yang's words made Lin Cheng suddenly realize. Only then did I realize that I had been trapped in this endless loop. Lin Cheng met Xiao Qingyun as early as when she first entered the heavens. At that time, she was avoiding the pursuit of some ancient family forces. Lin Cheng was also attracted by her beautiful appearance, so he rescued her during several chases. But no matter how he tried to please him, he couldn't get Xiao Qingyun to look at him differently. As a man, how could he hang himself on a woman? So he attracted the family forces who were chasing Xiao Qingyun, and informed the other party of her hiding place in exchange for a way to quickly break through the emperor. But this method made him miserable. Every time I reach a bottleneck in my cultivation, I feel like being eaten by thousands of ants. Let him live but not die. If it weren't for Xiao Qingyun, how could he be tortured like this? If the family elder had not sought the secret method, he would have been tortured to death. Now that a solution has been found, Xiao Qingyun snatches it away first. How could he endure such humiliation? One day, Xiao Qingyun must be killed with his own hands. Let her taste all the suffering she has suffered. At the same time, Xiao Xian was practicing in seclusion when he suddenly received a cold notification from the system. Ding, it has been detected that the Nanming dynasty is about to be attacked by foreign enemies, and a massacre mission has been issued. Slaughter the invaders, dismantle the Lin family's conspiracy, and kill the quasi-immortal. Complete tasks to get generous rewards. Ding. Since the Nanming dynasty is in a new promotion stage, the host may receive critical strike rewards for completing tasks. Seeing the announcement of this mission, Xiao Xian couldn't help but raise his eyebrows. As soon as the Nanming dynasty was promoted, it aroused the covetousness of those people. It seems that if these monsters cannot be taught a lesson, they will really think that the Xiao family is easy to bully. Before being promoted in the Nanming dynasty, Xiao Xian had a private conversation with Xiao Qingyun. Later, he discussed with Xiao Tianyuan, Xiao Jiangxin and other geniuses how to deal with it. It's just that although the Lin family has been standing in the heavens for millions of years, its overall strength is not strong at all. Even among the big families in the heavens, they are at the bottom. Why do two quasi-immortals suddenly appear? Xiao Xian recalled carefully, whether he was the genius of the Xiao family or Xiao Qingyun. There is no grudge or dispute with the Lin family, so why would the Lin family take action against the Nanming dynasty? Although the Nanming dynasty can help cultivators achieve faster breakthroughs, it is only limited to those who have the appearance of an emperor. Moreover, the Nanming dynasty has a hint of heavenly power. Even if the Lin family has two quasi-immortals, it cannot be reversed. Why did he take action at this moment? What exactly was being planned? Xiao Xian already had an idea in his mind. At the same time, brothers Lin Cheng and Lin Yang have already led their troops to the border area of the southern Ming dynasty. Under Xiao Qingyun's jurisdiction, the neighboring countries of the Nanming dynasty also lived a prosperous life. Everywhere you go, everything is prosperous. When Lin Yang saw this, he couldn't help but have an evil thought in his heart. Everywhere he passed was a world of purgatory. They burned, killed, looted, robbed women and children, and even cooked children to commit all kinds of evil. It caused a lot of complaints. In just half a month, the surrounding area was filled with smog. The people are in dire straits. Because their main force has several titled emperors and dozens of powerful emperors. The rich men in small countries dared to be angry but dared not speak out, so refugees became a disaster and the plague raged. Seeing others miserable and miserable, Lin Yang looked up to the sky and laughed. It's so happy. It's so happy. People are born to suffer. Living so happily has already made you forget what the world is really like. The mighty team attracted the attention of countless people. And they made no secret of their intention to attack the Nanming dynasty. Many powerful families and sects sent intelligence agents to follow him. It was even more surprising to see a group of people burning, killing, and looting. The weak eat the strong and the fittest survive. This is the cruel living environment in the world. The Lin family is going to attack the Nanming dynasty. Can they do it with their abilities? Maybe it wouldn't have been possible before, but it's different now. How do you say this? Maybe the Lin family has a quasi-immortal. Exactly, it has been more than 1,000,000 years since the first elder and the second elder of the Lin family broke through to the peak of the title of the great emperor in the ninth heaven. But he has been unable to realize the meaning of quasi-immortal for a long time. 1 month ago, he suddenly realized the meaning of quasi-immortal. Now he is making a breakthrough in retreat. What? 2 quasi-immortals. The Lin family has been at the bottom of all the big families for 1,000,000 years since its establishment. Now it's time to stand up and be a good person. No wonder the Lin brothers are so arrogant and domineering. It turns out there is a quasi-immortal in charge. There is only one Xiao Qingyun in the Nanming dynasty. Even if Xiao Xian is the head of her family, it is impossible to fight against the quasi-immortal. It's a pity that the Nanming dynasty has to change dynasties before the throne is warmed up. Are you crazy? If you become the leader of the clan, all the clan members will become emperors. Author, greedy for the body but not FO. Chapter 244. For a time, countless people were talking about it. Brothers Lin Cheng and Lin Yang turned a deaf ear to this. At this time, they are bent on overthrowing the Nanming dynasty. As long as Xiao Qingyun is killed, and with the help of the men in black, the Nanming dynasty will be in their possession. But the people of the Nanming dynasty were panic-stricken about this. What the Lin brothers did in the outside world has spread to the country. Many of them have come through dire straits. Naturally, we all know the feeling of being miserable and fearful all day long. Therefore, I pinned all my hopes on Xiao Qingyun, hoping that she would be as decisive as ever. But most of them packed up their belongings and fled to other countries one after another. But how did they know that they were dependent on each other and were safe and sound? The Lin family's ambitions extend beyond the southern Ming dynasty. At this time, brothers Lin Cheng and Lin Yang had arrived at the border crossing of the Nanming dynasty. The dynasty is worthy of being blessed by a trace of heavenly power, but it is obviously only separated by a dividing line. There is a huge difference. There are overgrown weeds under our feet, but within the border, there is rich spiritual energy. Lin Cheng looked at the border line of the Nanming dynasty a foot away with a sinister look on his face. Then he crouched down and stretched out his hand to touch, but was blocked by an invisible barrier. This is the system's test of the loyalty of family members. Once a traitor or invader is discovered, the awareness of prevention will be activated. Lin Cheng's face didn't change at all, he just watched quietly. The next moment, he took action. The sound of a long sword being unsheathed instantly attracted the attention of countless people. The Nanming dynasty dispatched hundreds of elite soldiers led by Xiao Jiamian. Above the city, Jamal Xiao stood proudly and looked at the invaders under the city. Since you have come to die, I will not show mercy. I will let you all stay here from today on. Before anyone could react, a thunder hammer fell from the sky. The boundless power of thunder and lightning caused the earth to tremble. The suffocating thunder and lightning instantly locked onto everyone. Countless bolts of thunder and lightning fell from the sky. When the two sides collided, a terrifying shockwave burst out. The first level of the Great Emperor. Lin Cheng's heart was filled with excitement. The Great Emperor alone had such terrifying fighting power. His face was full of horror, obviously he didn't expect Jamal Xiao to be so powerful. At this moment, everyone's eyes were focused on Jamal Xiao. No one expected that a cultivator who had just entered the Great Emperor would be there. He actually has the strength to welcome the Great Emperor to the 9th level. This unbridgeable gap between realms seemed to not exist in front of him. The genius of the Xiao family is really terrifying. The Nanming dynasty saw Jamal Xiao so brave. Military morale is soaring. The momentum was instantly majestic. Lin Cheng sneered, "Boy, your strength is indeed good, but fighting against this emperor is asking for death. What I am looking for today is Xiao Qingyuan. If you know the truth, get out of here." Jamal Xiao smiled jokingly and saw him standing with Thor's hammer at his side. With one hand on his hip, he looked at Lin Cheng with a bohemian expression and extremely arrogant look on his face. "It's just you. You're not qualified enough to fight against the king. I only need 3 moves to kill you. Even if he is just a first-level emperor, he cannot be as defiant as Xiao Tianyuan, Xiao Jiangxin, and Xiao Qingyuan. He can kill the strongest person at the 9th level of the Great Emperor, but it is not impossible to have a happy fight with him." Being humiliated by Jamal Xiao in this way, Lin Cheng suddenly became angry. "Since you are seeking death, I will send you back to the west." At this moment, Lin Yang took a step forward and jumped into the air. "Brother, let me meet him." In an instant, a great emperor's might suddenly burst out. The boundless power of the emperor shattered the sky. Feeling this terrifying pressure, Lin Cheng nodded with satisfaction. This person has innate spiritual roots, the thunder and lightning attributes of spiritual practice, and his own luck. Remember to give him a breath, so that his innate spiritual roots and consciousness can be extracted. At that time, you can retreat and digest it, and you will become a genius with outstanding talents. To you, the title of Great Emperor is a matter of time and night. Lin Yang on the side heard this, with greed in his eyes. "Thank you for the advice, brother. Otherwise, I would have smashed my brother to pieces. You and I are brothers, how can I ignore your cultivation?" Listening to the conversation between the two, Jamal Xiao sneered again and again. Finally, he set his sights on Lin Yang, "Want to take the emperor's innate spiritual roots and spiritual consciousness? I'm afraid you don't have that life. A mere emperor from the 3rd heaven dares to shout at me, maybe because he doesn't know how to write the word death." When Lin Yang heard this, he became furious and pointed the spear in his hand angrily. "How reckless!" Jamal Xiao smiled disdainfully and put Mjolnir on his shoulder. The descendants of the Lin family are too poor in qualifications. They don't even have innate spiritual roots. They still need to rob them from others. Although there are 2 quasi-immortals sitting in charge, who knows where these quasi-immortals came from? Maybe it was stolen from others, or maybe it was charity from others. Hiss. As soon as these words came out, there was a sound of inhalation all around. Unbelievable but very suspicious eyes were cast on brothers Lin Cheng and Lin Yang. Brothers Lin Cheng and Lin Yang were even more ashamed and angry. Jamal Xiao's unintentional words hit their sore spot. The two of them were stunned by these words and didn't know what to say for a moment. Seeing this, Jamal Xiao couldn't help but be surprised. Your quasi-immortal didn't really steal it from someone else, did he? As soon as these words came out, Lin Yang shot out without saying a word. Clang. A crisp sound sounded, and a terrifying killing intent burst out instantly. There was a roaring sound in the sky, and the gun intent swept across the sky. Take your life. Break. Jamal Xiao curled his lips and smiled, then swung out the Thor hammer. There were waves of shaking in the void, thunder rolling from the sky, and bursts of thunder. You are bluffing, and you dare to do anything in front of this emperor. You will die. Lin Yang's attacks were extremely ruthless and showed no mercy. Jamal Xiao looked indifferently at Lin Yang, who was coming to kill him, and swung Jalnir again. In an instant, two extreme forces collided. A huge mushroom cloud exploded in the sky. The thick smoke dissipated, and a figure fell to the ground, hitting the ground heavily. A proud smile appeared on Lin Cheng's lips. He dared to go against Lin Yang even though he was only at the first level of cultivation, he was just looking for death. Lin Yang, well done. For such an ungrateful person, we must let him know the gap between himself and his enemy. Looking at the figure standing tall in the thick smoke, Lin Cheng spoke with pride. However, the sound coming from the thick smoke frightened him. Yes, if you don't let him know the difference, he really thinks that the higher the realm, the stronger the strength. Jamal Xiao carried Mjalnir on his shoulder, grinning wildly. Are you crazy? If you become the leader of the clan, all the clan members will become emperors. Author, greedy for the body but not FO. Chapter 245. At that moment, Lin Cheng's eyes widened with anger, and he stared with horror at the figures that gradually became clearer in the thick smoke. Surprisingly, it was Jamal Xiao. Then he looked at the person in the deep pit on the ground in disbelief. This scene also shocked the onlookers. Horrified eyes were cast into the pit. I saw a spear broken into two pieces standing inside. Next to it was charred coal that had been split into erratic shapes by lightning. Taking a closer look, it was Lin Yang. However, at this moment, his clothes were ragged, and the emperor's essence and blood were constantly flowing out of his body. But his head was nowhere to be found. Just when everyone was confused, Jamal Xiao dropped around, grunting object in his hand. It's Lin Yang's head. Everyone looked at each other in astonishment, looking at the carefree young man in the sky in disbelief. I originally thought that Xiao Tianyuan, Xiao Jiangxin, Xiao Qingyuan, and others were the only geniuses in the Xiao family who were unparalleled in the world. I never thought that even a young boy could be so powerful. It's so easy to kill someone in his Xiao family. Lin Yang is already a leader at his level, but in front of Jamal Xiao, he is just a scumbag. Lin Cheng has always loved this younger brother, but I'm afraid the Xiao family's genius is no match for him. One life for another, it's not a loss if you die in Lin Cheng's hands. After all, he is also a half-titled emperor. Everyone was talking about it, obviously agreeing with this. Lin Cheng was furious when he saw this. Jamal Xiao. How dare you kill my little brother? If I don't kill you today, it will be hard to vent the hatred in my heart. Then let's see who is better. Jamal Xiao is not afraid of Lin Cheng at all. The main purpose of his appearance is to delay time. Now the head of the family is practicing in seclusion, and is only half a step away from transcending the immortal. Xiao Qingyuan is also struggling to break through the fifth level of the great emperor. And since the Lin brothers want to seize the Nanming dynasty, they cannot act alone. After all, the current horror of the Nanming dynasty is not something they can resist. Therefore, there must be a quasi-immortal behind them. As for why he never showed up, there is only one possibility. Breakthrough in retreat. Therefore, they only need to delay and wait for the family leader to make a breakthrough. By then, even if the two quasi-immortals of the Lin family are here, they will have nothing to fear. And this battle is also related to the life and death of the Xiao family. Take your life. Lin Cheng shouted violently, and a terrifying power burst out instantly. At the same time, there was a terrifying momentum coming from the Lin family. The earth trembled and the wind and clouds changed color. The entire Lin family was like a dragon coming out of the sea, turning everything upside down. Upon seeing this, the head of the Lin family hurriedly led everyone in the family to the back mountain. At this moment, terrifying power continued to erupt from the back mountain. Everyone stepped forward, as if they were weighed down by 1,000 kilograms of weight, unable to move. There were only two figures in black standing calmly with their hands behind their backs. The two looked at each other with a deep sense of teasing in their eyes. Next moment, a terrifying power burst out instantly. The huge impact turned everything within 100 miles into ruins. Waves of ethereal and ethereal momentum came from the sky. At this moment, a strange phenomenon was born, and the stars changed. The sky shattered and everything collapsed. Quasi-immortal. It's quasi-immortal. And there are two of them. The two ancestors of the Lin family are really transcendent. Immortal, truly invincible in the heavens. No wonder the Lin family dares to cause trouble for the Nanming dynasty at this time. It turns out that the family has two quasi-immortals. Now the Xiao family is completely destroyed. It's a pity that the newly promoted Nanming dynasty has become someone else's bag. Even Xiao Wuxi can't kill the quasi-immortal. Xiao Wuxi has not shown up since he stepped into the heavens. I'm afraid this person has been found long ago. If the Xiao family wants to survive this time safely, unless Xiao Xian breaks through to the quasi-immortal, maybe he still has the ability to fight. Since its establishment, the Xiao family has been coveted by too many people. The promotion of the Nanming dynasty made even the ancient giants unable to help but open their eyes to take a look. But as Xiao Xian's descendant, Xiao Qingyun also had Xiao Wuxi in charge. Therefore, no one dared to actually go to the Nanming dynasty to offend. At the same time, everyone in the Lin family looked at the dusty cave in front of them with tears in their eyes. Only two immortal Taoist figures were seen, and the transcendent old Taoist slowly appeared in front of them. First elder, second elder. Congratulations to the first elder, the second elder has become an immortal. The head of the Lin family spoke first. Get up, the two looked at each other, and they both saw excitement in each other's eyes. Then he looked at the two men in black on the side, and they bowed their hands. Thank you, Senior, for giving me the quasi-immortal enlightenment bag, so that we can transcend. The two men in black nodded, and then looked at them. The two of us will help you and others break through. It was just an exchange. Now the Lin Cheng brothers have gone to the Nanming dynasty to fight. With Xiao Qingyun's strength, I think he will be defeated. You and Susu will go and kill Xiao Qingyun. Once the deed is accomplished, you will have the opportunity to transcend. Anyway, your souls will suffer in purgatory all day long. The eldest elder and second elder of the Lin family raised their heads and laughed. Now that my two brothers have become quasi-immortals, in the world today, except for my two seniors, who can rival us? The man in black smiled coldly. Don't underestimate them. Before the two of them could speak, he disappeared before their eyes. At the same time, a golden dragon appeared circling in the back mountain. Facing this blow, Jamal Xiao's expression changed drastically, even after using all the secret treasures. You can't save your own life. At the critical moment, all living beings in the heavens discussed this a lot, and the news of Xiao Xian's transformation also spread throughout the heavens and all realms. Is this the end of his life's cultivation path? An emperor's power burst out, looking down upon the world. Gives people the ultimate visual beauty. The seven-colored auspicious clouds originally appeared in the sky. This scene was naturally discovered by everyone in the heavens. A golden light came from the sky. However, in one breath, they all disappeared without a trace. In just a quarter of an hour, it spread throughout the heavens. The boundless air of void keeps devouring the starry sky. The beautiful face is extremely cold. An invisible pressure fell from the sky instantly. Is it possible that Xiao Xian passed away? There is an aura of calmness and authority in her beautiful eyes. There were faint signs of transcendence coming from the back mountain of the Xiao family, but something unexpected happened and the vision suddenly disappeared. Boom! The terrifying roar instantly shattered the sky. The vision coming from the back mountain of the Xiao family also attracted the attention of countless people. That's not sitting down. No one else in the Xiao family can transcend beyond Xiao Xian. An invisible golden light barrier appeared in front of Jamal Xiao. A large sword fell from the sky and split the sky into two. I saw a pair of jade feet stepping on lotus flowers from the sky. This is a sign that only appears when you sit down. This is a transcendent phenomenon. Lin Cheng exploded with the terrifying power of the Peak Emperor and charged towards Jamal Xiao. It makes sense. Xiao Xian stayed at the peak of the title of Great Emperor for several years, but once he broke through, he unfortunately fell. Wearing armor and battle clothes, her figure was outlined in an exquisite shape. The terrifying blow fell instantly. At this time, Jamal Xiao's life was also seriously threatened. The powerful clans and clans that had long wanted to invade the Xiao family also took action at this moment. What a pity. Once Xiao Xian falls, the Xiao family will really be finished. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Are you crazy? If you become the leader of the clan, all the clan members will become emperors. Author, greedy for the body but not FO. Chapter 246. Under the gaze of countless people, Xiao Qingyun stepped forward wearing jade boots and draped in 3,000 blue silk threads. Her unparalleled charm is calm and unruffled, indifferent to the common people, but she still cherishes the unparalleled momentum of the common people. At this moment, countless creatures in the world were intoxicated. What a stunning beauty! Even though Lin Cheng had seen Xiao Qingyun's charming face before, he couldn't help but lose his mind at this moment. He couldn't help but laugh up to the sky, and his words were frivolous. What an empress Xiao Qingyun, with such a peerless appearance. It's really intoxicating, but it's a pity that such a peerless beauty will be buried here today. Lin Cheng's eyes showed a deep obscenity. The death of his brother has become unimportant at this moment. If possible, he wished he could straddle her. That taste is unforgettable. Of course, if you are willing to become my concubine, I can spare your life. As soon as these words came out, the expressions of all the sentient beings in the world suddenly darkened. What a lustful person! As soon as my brother died, he was thinking about the Empress Xiao Qingyun and wanted to spend time with her. Empress Xiao Qingyun is not someone to be trifled with. Even the titled emperor will not get any favors from her. For a time, countless people were discussing this. Even the onlookers around the Nanming dynasty couldn't help but cast their eyes on him. Regarding these, Lin Cheng smiled calmly and didn't take them seriously at all. If these could affect him, he would have died 1,000 times over. Then he looked at Xiao Qingyun. If you agree, I will immediately issue a letter of appointment to the Xiao family. Jamal Xiao on the side slowly retreated into the Nanming dynasty after hearing these words. There was even a hint of using seclusion to escape. At the same time, the look he looked at Lin Cheng had an unknown meaning. The geniuses of the Xiao family of the Nanming dynasty also took a few steps back. Although Xiao Qingyun has always been indifferent to the world, after joining Buddhism, he became more and more independent. He also cherishes the memory of the common people and does not see the suffering in the world. But that doesn't mean she has no temper. The Lincheng brothers first tortured and killed innocent people, causing people to live in dire straits. Now he attacks Jamal Xiao again and even teases her. Everything offends her. At this moment, above the sky, Xiao Qingyun's eyes fell on Lin Cheng, and there were waves in his eyes. What fell in Lin Cheng's eyes was actually teasing him. Now my two ancestors of the Lin family have broken through to the level of immortal, and I am about to become the great emperor. Regardless of strength, family background, or even appearance, he is much stronger than you. Letting you be my concubine is also a compliment to you. Don't be ungrateful. Lin Cheng was determined to win against Xiao Qingyun, and even had a somewhat condescending attitude. Xiao Qingyun couldn't help but look up at him, raising the corners of his mouth slightly. You are not even qualified to carry my shoes for this empress. Do you want to be my Taoist companion? You are wishful thinking. When everyone heard this, they were immediately shocked by Xiao Qingyun's strong attitude. Although Xiao Qingyun is the empress of the Nanming dynasty, killing her with two quasi-immortals from the Lin family is like trampling an ant to death. If Xiao Xian of the Xiao family is not dead, then I can still understand Xiao Qingyun's momentum. But now, she is a bit ungrateful. The Lin family is now a quasi-immortal family. As long as they want, a large number of alluring saints will be sent to their homes. I really thought that being a king would be great. At this time, everyone couldn't help but discuss Xiao Qingyun's words. They were basically laughing at Xiao Qingyun for not knowing how to assess the situation. The Xiao family is now in decline, so what if she is the son of heaven? Don't they all end up dead in the end? Rather than die without a complete body, it is better to linger and maybe make a comeback. Lin Cheng's originally proud smile suddenly froze at the corner of his mouth. At this moment, his face became extremely gloomy, and even tempered a bit of resentment. I saw him staring at the other party. Xiao Qingyun, since I show you a way to survive and you don't want it, then I will send you on your way. Boom. In an instant, the deafening sound of swords resounded across the sky for eternity. The sword intent reaching the sky and the earth broke out unscrupulously and headed towards Xiao Qingyun. A gleam of cold light sword energy went directly towards Xiao Qingyun. As soon as this move came out, everyone was shocked. Lin Cheng was indeed a strong man at the peak of the great emperor, and the power of this move was so terrifying. For a time, everyone was waiting for Xiao Qingyun's death. However, facing this blow, Xiao Qingyun waved his hand calmly. Boom! With a flick of his sleeves and a wave of his hand, Lin Cheng's killing move was instantly defeated. Such a terrifying blow was resolved so easily by Xiao Qingyun. Everyone's shocked eyes turned to Xiao Qingyun. It seems that the empress of the Nanming dynasty is not as weak as she seems. Lin Cheng's eyes suddenly condensed, revealing a hint of fear. I never thought that Xiao Qingyun's strength would be even more terrifying than before after not seeing each other for so many years. Xiao Qingyun looked at Lin Cheng with cold eyes, as if looking at a clown on the verge of death. This look made Lin Cheng extremely angry. Xiao Qingyun smiled calmly. Hundreds of thousands of years have passed, and you are still as miserable as before. As soon as these words came out, all the creatures in the sky couldn't help but show horrified looks. It seems like this is an old acquaintance. And there are still big grievances. As the eldest son of the Lin family, Lin Cheng was born with rare spiritual roots, so he was very popular with the two ancestors of the Lin family. Almost all the resources in the family are allocated to them. And he has the qualifications to surpass the immortal. Lin Cheng was also shocked when he heard this. He didn't expect Xiao Qingyun to tell the past events in public. As a bloody man, how could he let a woman humiliate his self-esteem in public? Since you think you are better than me, let me show you who is better. Die. Lin Cheng directly unleashed the terrifying power of the Emperor on his broadsword. It also contains a trace of black mist, which is a demon weapon. Seeing this, everyone was shocked. Lin Cheng was actually able to control the demonic soldiers. Looking at Lin Cheng, who was angrily killing him in the sky, Xiao Qingyun's eyes became even colder. At this moment, she looked at the figure in the sky, as if looking at a dead person, without any emotion. She didn't even care about the opponent's killing moves. I saw her stretching out a white jade hand, with her fingertips just a little bit. A light voice echoed in the sky, Zhen. Between heaven and earth, infinite pressure fell from the sky instantly. Lin Cheng was directly restrained, unable to move. Lin Cheng shouted violently and continued to use spells to attack this invisible pressure. But under the pressure of Xiao Qingyun's finger, this invisible restraint completely suppressed him. Don't overestimate your capabilities, press. There was no mercy in Xiao Qingyun's beautiful eyes. If it were anyone else, she would still choose to convert him. But this kind of beast with a human face and an animal heart is not worth it. Thinking of this, she turned her palms upward, and a huge pressure instantly pressed down on her. Boom! The surrounding power instantly became more terrifying, squeezing Lin Cheng tightly. It was as if the internal organs were about to be crushed. Lin Cheng looked up to the sky and roared, hating his own powerlessness and hating himself for not being as good as Xiao Qingyun. Endless resentment filled his heart. At this moment, he wanted to cut Xiao Qingyun into pieces. When Xiao Qingyun saw this, he suddenly remembered something, closed his eyes slightly, and chanted the Buddha's name. Rather than letting him die like this, it would be better to let them die on their own. Are you crazy? If you become the leader of the clan, all the clan members will become emperors. Author, greedy for the body but not FO. Chapter 247. Xiao Qingyun smiled slightly when he thought of this, his white jade fingers taking on the shape of orchids. A golden Buddha's name with the character swastika appeared in front of him, and then, a long golden dragon leaped into the sky. At an extremely fast speed, it sank into Lin Cheng's body. The swastika Buddha's name turned into a giant one and descended from the sky to press down on Lin Cheng's body. The golden dragon entered the body and the Buddha's name suppressed it, making Lin Cheng couldn't help but roar. He kept trying to break free in mid-air, but it didn't work. In the end, all the anger in his body was dissipated, and he was replaced by a person who was as calm as water. When Xiao Qingyun saw this, he knew that Lin Cheng had been converted, and then smiled lightly. Lin Cheng's eyes were slightly lowered, and the light in his eyes was as calm as water. Then he walked towards Xiao Qingyun, knelt down on one knee and bowed, Lin Cheng pays homage to the king. This move expressed his immense respect for Xiao Qingyun. Seeing this, all the creatures in the world couldn't help but gasp. Xiao Qingyun actually transformed Lin Chengdu directly. And this technique is a unique standard for senior Buddhist personnel. In order to make Lin Cheng surrender to her, she even did not hesitate to reveal her identity. This means injuring the enemy by 1000 and damaging yourself by 800. Xiao Qingyun ignored everyone's gazes, since the Lin family would choose this time to attack. This proves that the relationship between the Xiao family and the three parties has been guessed by interested people. She nodded slowly, it is fate that you become my disciple today. Today I will assign you the first task, to kill all those who offend the southern Ming dynasty. Everyone looked at the beautiful Xiao Qingyun in horror. At this moment, the corners of her eyes and eyebrows were dyed with a gorgeous smile, but it made people feel chilly in their hearts. What a femme fatale! Then everyone saw Lin Cheng standing on the border of the Nanming dynasty with a sword in hand. The eyes are full of killing intent. At this moment, the onlookers around the Nanming dynasty were so shocked that they were speechless. No wonder Xiao Qingyun chose to stop the moment he killed Lin Cheng. It turned out that he had other plans. How can a woman who can become the king of a country be just an ordinary person? At this moment, all the creatures in the world were talking about it after seeing this scene. The people standing beside them were thinking about after Lin Cheng subdued Xiao Qingyun. Spend some big money or rare treasures in exchange for a moment of pleasure. Looking at Lin Cheng at this moment, everyone retracted this small idea. Xiao Qingyun is not only powerful, but his methods are even more ruthless. In the Lin family, the two ancestors of the Lin family are preparing to go to the Nanming dynasty to end their lives. But at this time, he was interrupted by an intelligence agent disciple in the family. Ancestor, head of the family, it's not good. It's not good. Hearing this, the head of the Lin family suddenly became gloomy. Such behavior is against the family's decency. After the report is completed, go and receive the punishment yourself. The intelligence officer was stunned. There was no such rule before. But he didn't care about anything else and directly informed them of the intelligence received. Reporting to the head of the family, I just received information that the eldest young master, the second young master and the Xiao family's genius are fighting. The second young master was killed. The eldest young master was converted. Now he has become Xiao Qingyun's murder tool. What? Almost at the same time, the three of them looked at the intelligence disciple in shock, their eyes full of astonishment. What? Lin Cheng has the strength of the peak emperor, how could he be killed? The head of the Lin family couldn't help but say. With Lin Cheng's strength, even if Xiao Qingyun is powerful, there is no way he can defeat him and the demon soldiers as one. Lin Yang, my grandson. My ancestor must avenge you. Nanming dynasty. Xiao Qingyun. If I don't kill you, I won't be able to vent my hatred. The two ancestors of the Lin family were so angry that they wished they could go up and kill Xiao Qingyun and the others one by one right now. Brothers Lin Cheng and Lin Yang are the focus of the family's cultivation. Not to mention the amount of spiritual crystals and resources spent on them is already immeasurable. Even with the talents of the two of them, no one in the entire Lin family can match them. Master, ancestor, there is one more thing. A burst of detachment came from the back hill of the Xiao family. When the three of them heard this, they paused in their hearts, and then they came to their senses. Ding! The host comprehends the first quasi-immortal enlightenment and obtains the innate Dao Dharma, which can communicate with all things in the world and integrate thousands of Dao. However, it leaked out in a breath. I do not know why. As soon as the quasi-immortal realm is broken through, the shackles that were originally bound are also opened at this moment. Feeling his current strength, Xiao Xian smiled slightly, and a cold look flashed in his eyes. Today I must capture the Nanming dynasty. And the secret behind the numerous talents of the Xiao family. Exactly, with the strength of the two of us, it is only a matter of time before we are promoted to the dynasty. Now that Xiao Xian is dead, the genius of the Xiao family has no backer. This opportunity just opens the way for the Lin family. Hearing the words of the Lin family leader, the two ancestors nodded. Even so, the Yamen still dare not take it lightly. Seeing these rewards, Xiao Xian smiled with satisfaction. Breakthrough to trigger the auspicious clouds of heaven and earth, and obtain the quasi-immortal auspicious clouds. You can travel thousands of miles in a day. Before he could slowly open his eyes, an energy containing the aura of the great Dao instantly irrigated his whole body from the top of his head. Xiao Xian may have really passed away. The first elder was even more furious. The genius of the Xiao family is bullying others. How dare you kill me, the genius of the Lin family? At this time, Xiao Xian was receiving rewards from the system, and he knew nothing about the rumors that he had failed to transcend. The most important thing now is to take advantage of Xiao Xian's death to change the Xiao family's ownership. Otherwise, it will be difficult when those people are dispatched. Even if the Nanming dynasty is captured by us, the worst possible chance is to be downgraded. The mana accumulated before became a boost at this moment. Since they can all receive the news of Xiao Xian's failure to transcend. Now that the second elder and I have become immortals, there are almost no opponents in the world. In the end, the genius stopped until he reached the third level of quasi-immortal. The two ancestors of the Lin family were also extremely depressed at this moment. Two ancestors, Lin Yang is dead now, and Lin Cheng has also been converted by Xiao Qingyun. If I can't kill them, I will find it difficult to eliminate this hatred. Then he gathered the family members in the shortest possible time. They are all very excited, if they can take both of them as their own. The head of the Lin family stopped talking when he heard the words of another ancestor. This time the Lin family may become the strongest family in the world. Yes, although Lin Cheng was converted, he had the opportunity to change his nature. Lin Yang's death may not be a bad thing, the second elder immediately agreed. At that time, the shackles of realm and the poverty of genius will be made up for. Those ancient family forces might already be on their way to the Xiao family. At this moment, bursts of roaring suddenly came from the sky. Whether it is the secret of Xiao Xian's breakthrough or the secret of the Xiao family's prodigy. Xiao Xian's expression changed drastically, it was actually directed at him. Ancestor and I have the same idea. If that's the case, then let's use the power of the family to annihilate the Xiao family with all our strength. Ding! Congratulations to the host for transcending the immortal and having accumulated 50,000 years of mana distribution. Are you crazy? If you become the leader of the clan, all the clan members will become emperors. Author, greedy for the body but not FO. Chapter 248. Ding! Detecting the natural abnormality caused by the host breaking through the quasi-immortal, activating the Eye of Heaven. Once discovered by the Eye of Heaven, you will face divine punishment. The host can choose to resist head-on. You can also choose to hide your 50,000-year mana and temporarily avoid the Eye of Heaven until your strength improves. Fight against the Eye of Heaven again, or choose to fight head-on, but there is a 99.9% mortality rate. Hearing this voice, Xiao Xian knew what the reason was. When he was in the vast world, it was because he had accumulated millions of years of mana. As a result, he was targeted by the Eye of Heaven, but at that time he could still choose to enter the heavens and worlds to continue practicing. However, if one is now a breakthrough quasi-immortal and is targeted by the Eye of Heaven, other than transcendence, there is only one way to die. And it's still soul-destroying. The kind that is so soul-crushing. Therefore, Xiao Xian chose to hide his aura without hesitation. In the eyes of everyone, his cultivation level at this moment is only the fourth level of the titled Great Emperor. Even a quasi-immortal cannot find out his true situation. But in fact, he is a third-level quasi-immortal with 50,000 years of magical power. It kind of corresponds to the sentence in the novel about pretending to be a pig and eating the tiger. Watching the terrifying momentum in the sky gradually dissipate. Xiao Xian smiled lightly. Now, it's time to settle everything. In an instant, Xiao Xian's figure appeared in the sky. With the help of quasi-immortal Shang Yun, his flying speed is unmatched. Xiao Xian's dispatch instantly attracted the attention of all living beings in the world. For a time, in the heavens, everything ranged from ancient family forces to small traders and pawns. One after another came to watch the head of the Xiao family who failed to transcend but was resurrected. Many of them secretly hoped that even if Xiao Xian fails to transcend, he can remain as brave as ever. After all, they lived the most harmonious life under the leadership of the Xiao family. Almost at this time, the two quasi-immortals of the Lin family joined forces with the head of the Lin family. The entire Lin family came out in full force and divided their troops into two groups to go to the Xiao family and the Nanming dynasty. The two quasi-immortals of the Lin family naturally felt Xiao Xian's aura and couldn't help but wonder secretly. Xiao Xian failed to transcend, but he is still alive. How strange. Although he is not dead, his cultivation level is not as good as before, and there are even signs of falling. This is true, the head of the Lin family was filled with excitement. The two quasi-immortals of the Lin family nodded, but their expressions were still very solemn. After all, in all the heavens, they have never heard of a cultivator who failed in transcendence but did not die. In addition, Xiao Xian has always been acting strangely, so he does not dare to take it lightly. Second Elder, I just sent out a ray of spiritual consciousness to investigate, and found that Xiao Xian only has the cultivation level of the fourth heavenly emperor. If this is the case, it seems that he failed to transcend, but used some secret treasures to change his life. Only one life was saved, but the level of cultivation was lost. In this way, the fruits of victory in this war have been harvested by the Lin family. For a while, everyone in the Lin family looked in the direction of the Nanming dynasty with excitement. At this time, suddenly there was a shouting sound from the sky. That familiar voice made the head of the Lin family and the two ancestors widen their eyes in shock. "Stop, whoever comes. If you want to attack the Nanming dynasty, you must get through me first." Lin Cheng's eyes were extremely cold, filled with a chilling look. Facing Lin Cheng's unfamiliar and cold eyes, the two ancestors of the Lin family only felt extremely sad. The elder took a step forward with a look of sorrow on his face. "Lin Cheng is the legendary genius of our Lin family. However, his sanity was wiped out due to fighting with foreign enemies. With Lin Cheng's temperament, he would definitely not want to live in humiliation. Today I will act as the sinner and help you escape from the sea of suffering and no longer be bound." After saying this, Lin Cheng felt a warm feeling in his throat. The next moment, there was no sound anymore, and his eyes were filled with horror and disbelief. Xiao Qingyun, who was on the side, sneered when he saw this emperor just transformed his violent aura. His memory has not been erased. In other words, he is still the same person, but his anger is gone. As soon as these words came out, all the sentient beings in the world suddenly gasped. This move is really heartbreaking. As soon as Xiao Qingyun said these words, what the ancestor of the Lin family just said became more high-sounding. Especially Lin Cheng's expression of horror and disbelief. This made everyone feel a little disgusted with this Taoist with immortal style. The two ancestors of the Lin family were dressed in Taoist robes, with fair hair and childish faces, and they looked like immortals. It's a pity that his eyes were cloudy, and the look he showed was even more obscene. The ancestor of the Lin family suddenly turned gloomy when he heard this, and his eyes towards Xiao Qingyun became fierce. "You little girl, how dare you play tricks on me? Today, I will let you know what the anger of an immortal is." With a casual wave of his hand, the entire sky trembled. The long river of time and space opened up, the sky shattered, and the boundless immortal pressure would attack Xiao Qingyun. Even if Xiao Qingyun can leapfrog and challenge the titled emperor, he can't do it in front of a quasi-immortal. Like ants. Death upon contact. Just when everyone thought Xiao Qingyun was about to perish, a force of chaos pierced the sky. It flew over at the speed of light and slammed into this quasi-immortal power. In an instant, the sky shattered and the air of the void flowed backwards. The sky collapsed, the earth collapsed, mountains and rivers collapsed, and horrific aftermath swept across all directions. Before they could react, a golden light enveloped Xiao Qingyun. Even the ancestor of the Lin family showed a look of astonishment. Could this person be a quasi-immortal? Such a domineering and powerful sword light can only be controlled by a quasi-immortal. Besides the two ancestors of the Lin family, who else has broken through to the immortal? Look. It's Xiao Xian, the head of the Xiao family. This person's shout instantly attracted the attention of countless people. Looking in the direction of the man's finger, he saw Xiao Xian, dressed in white, standing in front of Xiao Qingyun. The transcendent momentum is unparalleled in the world. Didn't Xiao Xian fail to transcend? Why didn't he die? Did he succeed in transcending? No, the terrifying aura in the back of the Xiao family was released. This is not a sign of detachment. I actually felt that Xiao Xian's realm had dropped. What? As soon as the statement came out, the crowd was in an uproar. Many people have explored Xiao Xian's cultivation realm, and found that he is only at the 4th level of the titled Great Emperor. Seeing Xiao Xian so lonely now, everyone couldn't help but sigh for a while. It's a pity that a generation of strong men has been lost to everyone. Sure enough, the legendary detachment is not that easy. Being able to save a life is already a blessing among misfortunes. However, Xiao Xian turned a deaf ear to these words. At this moment in the Nanming dynasty, Xiao Jinjian, Xiao Yan, and others looked at Xiao Xian in the sky. Although his cultivation level dropped, they could clearly feel it. Xiao Xian's strength becomes even more terrifying. Now, I'm afraid there is no opponent for him among the quasi-immortals. As the king of a country, Xiao Qingyun is also the reincarnated empress. Naturally, Xiao Xian's subtle changes can be felt. Stupid people, she sneered, her voice filled with contempt. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Are you crazy? If you become the leader of the clan, all the clan members will become emperors. Author, greedy for the body but not FO. Chapter 249. Seeing Xiao Xian coming here, the expressions of the two ancestors of the Lin family changed drastically. Then he looked at Xiao Xian with a calm expression, his words and deeds filled with a condescending attitude. It turns out to be the Xiao family master. I heard that the Xiao family master failed to transcend and was able to save a life. It is really not easy. The great elder's eyes showed a dirty look, making his 3 white eyes look even more cloudy. Xiao Qingyun looked at them indifferently. When Xiao Xian was still at the peak of the 9th level of the titled Great Emperor, he was already able to kill fake immortals. Even a quasi-immortal can take 3 of his moves. Although his cultivation level has dropped now, his strength is even more terrifying than before. 2 quasi-immortals, I'm afraid they'll be in a row with just 1 strike from him. However, Xiao Xian swung his sword. The immortal slaying sword technique, come out. With the divine sword in hand, he swung the sword. In an instant, a waning moon shrouded the sky. Then it turned into a long sword that exuded an ethereal aura. Xiao Xian said nothing nonsense and drew 2 sword energy from the sheath. Let everyone behind the ancestor of the Lin family disappear instantly. Even the wailing sound disappeared without a trace before it could be shouted. It was as if those people had never appeared. What? At this moment, everyone changed their colors. Seeing Xiao Xian massacre all the Lin family children with 1 sword, everyone felt numb and powerless. Even if he has fallen out of state, Xiao Xian's fear is suffocating. And Xiao Xian didn't give them time to think at all. His momentum surged to the sky, and a cold light shook the sky. Looking at Xiao Xian who was coming to kill him, the 2 ancestors of the Lin family smiled contemptuously. An overestimating ant. The head of the Lin family stopped the second elder with a ruthless look in his eyes. 2 ancestors, I don't need help from such a small person. Xiao Xian, today. However, before the head of the Lin family could finish speaking, a sharp sword energy directly cut his throat. This scene made everyone's eyes widen in shock. The head of the Lin family is a powerful man at the peak of the title of emperor with 10,000 years of magical power. If Xiao Xian is still the strong man with thunderous methods in the past, they still find it acceptable. But at this moment, he is a cultivator who failed to escape and barely saved his life. He even lost the cultivation realm of the 5th heaven. But he was able to easily kill a powerful man with the title of Great Emperor, the pinnacle of 10,000 years of mana. This scene is so shocking. Xiao Xian. Die. The 2 ancestors of the Lin family looked at each other, their eyes filled with overwhelming anger. Endless murderous intent rages across the heavens and continents, and terrifying immortal power sweeps across the sky. Looking at the 2 quasi-immortals who came to kill, A trace of sarcasm appeared on Xiao Xian's lips. If you don't overestimate your own capabilities, how dare an ant challenge the power of heaven? After saying that, the immortal decapitating waning moon sword started to riot. The terrifying sword intent burst out and swept across all directions instantly. Whoosh! With one sword shot, the sky was split into two, and the energy of the sky continued to flow backwards. The sky falls to the south, the earth sinks to the west, and the sea water flows backwards. Countless people were shocked by this horrific scene. The killing moves of the two quasi-immortals were vulnerable to this sword. Kankan caught this move, and more terrifying things followed. I saw a long golden dragon looking up to the sky and roaring in the sky. Falling from the sky, the terrifying sword force condensed into a golden sword. With a daunting immortal aura, he killed the two quasi-immortals. Immortal killing sword. The two quasi-immortals looked horrified. Immortal killing sword. Kill the immortals, kill the immortals, kill all the immortals in the world. As soon as the immortal slaying sword comes out, even the powerful late-stage quasi-immortals dare not face it head-on. When the sword came out, the two quasi-immortals sacrificed their own natural defenses. However, the defense they were so proud of was in vain under this sword. The two quasi-immortals flew out instantly, bleeding profusely in the air. When they landed on the ground, they saw that only the Great Elder survived. And the second elder became his shield. He withstood the fatal blow, but even so, he was severely wounded. Xiao Xian was indifferent and slowly walked towards him with his sword, his majestic face full of killing intent. Seeing Xiao Xian like this, the great elder's face was filled with fear and despair. With his eyes wide open, he used his hands and feet to step back and beg for mercy. Master Xiao, please spare my life. It was my fault before. I beg you, sir, to spare my life. I am willing to tell you the way to transcend the immortal. It can also kill you easily. This is the power of the quasi-immortal. It was not my intention to attack the Nanming dynasty. It was the two men in black who asked me, the Lin family, to attack the Nanming dynasty. Even the quasi-immortal knelt down and begged him to spare his life. It's terrifying. It's really terrifying. Two figures in black appeared in the sky, frightening the hearts of all the onlookers. No wonder there are two quasi-immortals in the Lin family. It turns out that someone is guiding them from behind. And killing two quasi-immortals within 3 moves is really amazing. Then he swung his sword, and the great elder's body trembled like a sieve. As long as you hand her over, nothing will happen today. On the contrary. The great elder spoke hurriedly, his eyes filled with fear for Xiao Xian. At this time, the consumed soul energy cannot be recovered in a short period of time. Even if the two of us don't use weapons. Seeing such a strong Xiao Xian, there were constant gasps from all around. At this moment, all the creatures in the world felt a sense of fear of being targeted by a terrifying and powerful person. The boundless immortal pressure keeps coming. Not only Xiao Qingyun, but also the Xiao family will become the wronged souls in hell. Then he spoke again, the two of us came here mainly for Xiao Qingyun behind you. However, to use the immortal slaying sword, you need divine soul energy. Now that you have killed two quasi-immortals, Xiao Xian, the head of the Xiao family, is really a dragon and a phoenix among men. Even if he fails to transcend, he can still control the immortal sword. Two quasi-immortals, and one who is the pinnacle of the title of Great Emperor with 10,000 years of magic power, can't even catch 3 moves in front of him. The other quasi-immortal chuckled lightly. Seeing that Xiao Xian was unmoved, he thought he was intimidated by his own power. There was a terrifying momentum coming from the sky. Hiss. The head of the Xiao family, Xiao Xian, has fallen into the realm of cultivation, but he has more terrifying strength than a quasi-immortal. Seeing that Xiao Xian was unmoved, the elder knelt half on the ground and looked at Xiao Xian with a pleading look on his face. The pressure of the powerful quasi-immortal is really not something they can withstand. Those ancient forces coming towards the Xiao family saw Xiao Xian's strength. Because they said they had a grudge against Xiao Qingyun, the entire Lin family mobilized to mobilize. Xiao Xian, you were able to kill the two quasi-immortals of the Lin family, but you only relied on the immortal killing sword in your hand. I just don't know who these two men in black are, that they can inspire others to break through to immortality. Xiao Xian did not pause when he heard this. The final result of this matter was within his expectation. In this way, the enemies of the Xiao family are not only the Lin family, but also the two men in black. Since it is just a paper tiger, why should they be afraid? He chose to go back, but after hearing the conversation between these two people, he chose to move forward again. It makes many people feel discouraged and even think about escaping. The words of the two also let all the creatures in the world know Xiao Xian's final trump card. Are you crazy? If you become the leader of the clan, all the clan members will become emperors. Author, greedy for the body but not FO. Chapter 250. The threatening words of the man in black had no effect at all on Xiao Xian. What responded to them was Xiao Xian's sword energy. The sword light flashed, and the voice of the man in black stopped abruptly. The level of cultivation of the third-level quasi-immortal is not enough in his eyes. The other man in black looked shocked when he saw this. It is simply impossible to understand that Xiao Xian is a cultivator who has failed in detachment. Why is there such a lush spiritual soul energy that can drive the immortal slaying sword over and over again? Looking at Xiao Xian with burning eyes and murderous intent on his face, he felt a trace of fear in his heart. Xiao Xian, even if you can kill him, he is just a third-level quasi-immortal. But I am a quasi-immortal of the sixth heaven. Even the immortal slaying sword will not be of much use without the blessing of a strong person. Faced with his clamor, Xiao Xian did not change at all. I saw him sneer, strong? I am the strongest. Then he slashed through the air with his sword, cutting through everything. The quasi-immortal man in black didn't even have the ability to resist. Xiao Xian didn't even look at the quasi-immortal in black who refused to rest in silence. All the creatures in the world were completely shocked by the scene and could not speak for a long time. They didn't expect that Xiao Xian would be so terrifying even if he fell into the realm. The head of the Xiao family is too terrifying. This level of strength is frightening. Even if the breakthrough fails and the cultivation level falls, the quasi-immortal can still be killed. Maybe, he has some treasure. Even if he fails to transcend, he can still take this opportunity to become stronger. As soon as these words were spoken, it was like a thunder on the ground, exploding instantly. Everyone thought of Xiao Xian's changes. Since ancient times, no one has ever been able to save his life after failing to transcend. Even braver than before. Therefore, Xiao Xian's change reminded them of the Xiao family's treasure. I saw Xiao Xian swipe his long sword and cut across the world. When the quasi-immortal saw this, he couldn't help but look horrified. Xiao Xian, do you know who is behind me? Seeing that Xiao Xian ignored him and looked at him with an indifferent expression, he suddenly became anxious. The person behind me is already transcendent. Killing you is just a matter of a thought. If you put me back today, maybe that person can spare your life. Otherwise, you will die without a burial place. As soon as these words came out, countless people were shocked. Are there really transcendent and successful people in this world? The Emperor of Heaven was attracted by detachment and fell. Xiao Xian remained indifferent, with a chilling look in his eyes. So what if I am detached? Even if I try my best, I will kill those who harm my descendants. As soon as these words came out, the man in black was shocked. He hurriedly took out the quasi-immortal treasure and tried to escape. At this moment, a golden ray of light passed through his chest. The man in black looked astonished, looking at his chest with wide eyes and disbelief. He is a quasi-immortal from the sixth heaven. he would die in the hands of a titled emperor. Reluctance, anger, and resentment filled his eyes. Xiao Xian, however, didn't even look at them and took the bodies of several people into his pocket. With the bodies of these people, the strength of the Xiao family's genius will be improved again. After hearing Xiao Xian's words, the genius of the Xiao family. There are no words to express the emotions in their hearts, but it strengthens their loyalty to Xiao Xian. After the battle was over, Xiao Xian was alone, looking at the vast heavens, feeling a burst of emotion in his heart. After today's battle, the Xiao family successfully became one of the top 10 family forces in the world. But the secrets in him attracted more powerful people to covet him. If you want to consolidate the Xiao family's position and gradually strengthen the family's power, you cannot take it lightly. For 3 consecutive months, the Xiao family was dealing with the consequences of this war. First, the remnants of the Lin family who went to attack the Xiao family were eliminated. Another time to deal with the plague brought by brothers Lin Cheng and Lin Yang. In the end, he comforted the victims and refugees, thus winning the hearts of the people. The status of the Xiao family and Xiao Qingyun in everyone's minds has also become different. Xiao Qingyun also won the hearts of the people. Not only has her cultivation realm been broken through, but her national jade seal has also been promoted. In addition, a merit seal is opened up. The merit seal can accumulate all the negative virtues and use them for yourself. Xiao Qingyun looked at the national jade seal in his hand with great excitement. With the merit seal, her path to spiritual practice will become smoother. At the same time, the system's notification tone also sounded in Xiao Xian's mind. Ding, it is detected that the descendants of the next generation have won the support of the people, and the host has received merit feedback. Merit feedback: the more the descendants gain popular support, the more merit feedback the host will receive. With the blessing of merit and wish, the host can mobilize this merit into his own spells when fighting with the enemy. Ding, it is detected that the loyalty of family children has increased by 10%, and the family resident reward feedback has increased by 10%. Xiao Xian's eyes turned when he heard this. Xiao Qingyun is the only one in the family who can gain the support of the people and have merit feedback. Then a golden light instantly filled his body. After a moment, Xiao Xian slowly opened his eyes. Although no big changes can be seen in the merit feedback, he can clearly feel how powerful his own strength is. As a disciple of Buddhism, Xiao Qingyun is also the king of a country. Even more important than any magic. Hearing Xiao Jianfeng's words, everyone in the Xiao family suddenly had a look of solemnity in their eyes. From dealing with foreign enemies to allocating family resources, everything was handled flawlessly. They were involved in those quasi-immortals again, even if it was just 1 or 2 quasi-immortals. Only Xiao Xian looked at Xiao Jianfeng with admiration. What Elder Xiao Jianfeng said is true, but this is not something that needs to be solved at the moment. I'm afraid we don't even have the ability to resist. This is a big difficulty for us. Life and death are no longer worth worrying about for them, only victory or defeat, and this is just an evenly matched opponent. And the transcendent person he mentioned has also been traced. If the other party really takes action against us, with the refinement of the system, it has been transformed into a resource that can be used for the cultivation of future generations of the family. In the meeting hall. But looking at the looks of everyone, Xiao Xian coughed twice. But he obtained the bodies of 4 quasi-immortals. If several other major families attack us, I'm afraid it will be difficult to resist. They won't come for revenge, but that doesn't mean there's no danger. It also condenses 9 points of quasi-immortal insights. There are all their intelligence spies, and even within the Nanming dynasty, there seems to be the aura of the great emperor titled the Great Emperor. The creation of the merit seal was also a big boost to her cultivation. Xiao Xian's words continued. Although the resources collected from the battle with the Lin family this time were not many. However, This investigation found that they had connections with senior members of the Human Slayer Alliance. Let's not talk about whether he is transcendent or not. Even if he is successful in transcending, in front of a truly strong person. First of all, the top management of the Human Slayer Alliance need not worry for the time being. The Human Slayer Alliance branch has been severely damaged. With the current strength of the Xiao family, it is an easy task. Secondly, the detached person who has traces of traces. Xiao Tianyun was also influenced by him and managed family affairs more easily than before. This time the encirclement and cleanup work has also come to an end. Xiao Jianfeng took the first step, and his face was solemn. As expected, he is an excellent candidate for the housekeeper, ever since he took over the affairs of the Xiao family. Xiao Xian's words were like a reassurance, making everyone in the Xiao family calm down instantly. 3 months later, Xiao Xian summoned the family members to the meeting hall. With the current strength of the Xiao family, they don't look down on him, so there is no need to worry that he will come to take revenge. Then, Xiao Jianfeng continued, secondly, although the two men in black came to seek revenge. Hearing this, everyone in the Xiao family suddenly became calm and their expressions became solemn. Master, although the Lin family won a great victory this time, the Xiao family's status has also become very important. But it also attracted the attention of many powerful forces around the Xiao family and the Nanming dynasty.